Welcome to Ponchatoula Live, the show where we make it easy for you to connect with the people of Ponchatoula. I'm your host, Parker Layrisson, and today I've got one of my favorite guests of all time. I think we're approximately 175 episodes into this show, and I've had the privileges of talking to incredible people from all walks of town, big time leaders, salt of the earth people, fantastic folks in every way. But none of them exceed this person in talent, accomplishment, and just a genuinely good heart. She's one of my very best friends. I've known her practically our whole lives. We went to St. Joseph's School together and then Tulane together. And she married my best friend, and she's the godmother to my oldest son. And so, with no further ado, I bring to you Angelique Richardson. Angelique, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Parker. That was a heck of an intro. Thanks.
It was a very brief list of fabulous things I could say about you. I meant every word of it. Why don't we kick things off for the folks that don't know you so well like I do? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been living in Ponchatoula most of my life. I think what's appropriate to share on the Ponchatoula Live show, too, is that all growing up, I felt like this was such a small town. I was ready to get out. And I went to New Orleans for a couple of years and even ended up in Dallas. And the further I got away, the further I realized how wonderful our city is. So I've been back home, raising my kids here, passionate about everything I do, really involved in the community, and just love what you do with Ponchatoula Live. And I'm really honored to be here.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad. I know you have the busiest schedule of any of my friends. I'm so glad you finally made time for us and sandwiches in between very important business decisions. And, you're also a world-class mom, I should mention. So I know you're heading straight to a baseball game after this. So I'll do my best to get done on time. But you mentioned growing up in Ponchatoula. It's been so, and I'm so glad you came back. Let me say that first, what you said, because we were scared we'd lost you for a while to the big bucks of Dallas, because, you're such an accomplished financial professional. But growing up in Ponchatoula, your house was always one of the most fun. And I say your house, the various houses, no matter what house you were in, whether you were in Millville, where you were when I met you. Thankfully, all your homes have pools, or whether you were my godfather, Jack Vaughn's and Margaret Vaughn Berner's old house, where your parents still live. It was always a fabulous place to be, because you had these two warm and inviting parents, and your dad was always the first guy to, put a drink in your hand, cook some jerk chicken, just have such a great time. And your mom was this mysterious woman from Europe. She had all these things. Now my kid eats Nutella sandwiches for breakfast sometimes.
Yeah,
it was like contraband back in the 80s when we first saw it. And your mom was, so.
Yep.
If you don't mind, tell us about what childhood was like here, beginning with your fabulous parents, Doug and Sissy Daigle.
I'm so glad you started it there, because I have probably the two best parents. I think I had the luckiest start in life. I had the, immigrant mother who was just fearless and came here, loved me and my brother more than anything in the world. And we felt that love. And it really fostered a lot of confidence in, I think, both of us, and has really, helped with our success in our lives for sure. And then you're right. My dad is just friendly, loves everybody, and has taught me the same thing. I think that was a lesson you taught me before I went to high school too. Just love everybody. And so they were always so welcoming. My mom was also number one mom at every event, really supported all of us. I mean, it wasn't that she just loved us. I mean, she loved you and all of our friends.
Oh, for sure. And she took care of the whole community. And kind of what I love about her is, and you too, I mean, you're really the best of your parents. And I mean that sincerely. But your family, you welcome folks in from all walks of life. It wasn't just the privileged kids that went to St. Joseph with us. It was other kids that did not have great parents, and treated everybody the same, just with constant servant's heart. And what's neat is to see you pick up where they left off. I look at your mom, and she was like the best mom ever and all that, like my mom, or your husband's mom, Paulette. They were a trio of incredible
They're on
women.
the list.
But she was also professionally quite accomplished. Our mothers both went to school or back to school as non-traditional college students, got these higher degrees. Your mom went on to be the chief civil deputy at the Ponchatoula Sheriff's Office, did phenomenally well there, was my father's right-hand, woman for anything financial. And so, but she always had time to make homemade treats, be at every game, et cetera. Your dad built this construction empire that it's so cool to see Joey running so capably now.
Yeah.
It's a family business he poured blood, sweat, and tears into. When I think back, when I look at all the success your parents have had, and the spoils that come with doing so well for so long, I remember, and I think you had it in the kitchen, a little picture they had of the tiniest camper trailer you ever saw. Seems in retrospect like it was closer to the size of my desk than even my office, but that's where they started out, right? I mean, this is a
Yep.
marriage born of humble material beginnings, but hard work. What an example that must have been. And now you and Joey kind of pick up where they left off. Your mom's a financial professional, you become a
Mhm.
CPA, then a CFO, now a CEO and business owner. If
Yep.
you don't mind, tell me what do you remember about them professionally that inspired you to be where you are today?
They were both so incredibly driven. So not just supporting us, I had the best parents and the best childhood, and I never felt like it took away from what they gave to us. But I remember, my mom, when she went back to school, she would have study partners over, and we would have a full meal, 5-course meal. We'd go to bed, and then they'd start studying when she was going back to school. And then, my dad is just the workaholic. I definitely inherited that gene from him. But
Right.
seeing that work ethic in both of them to like really commit to whatever it was that they were that was important to them, which could be multiple things, like it was me and my brother and the family, but then also their careers, and really just seeing that drive in them, I think taught us that same kind of commitment to whatever passion we were following. So very, very
That's
blessed.
so cool. Well, I was blessed to have them play a very large part in my childhood. And when I think of you, I really enjoy looking back to those early days. At your first house, you had the
Yeah,
great room upstairs, and we
that's
would
right.
walk out the window and,
Yes. Sit on the
because you
roof.
would not want our kids doing that. I only
No
have a
way.
one-story house, so it's less worry for me, but you have a very tall house. We don't want our kids on the roof. If they happen
No,
to stumble across this, don't do as we did, do as we
we were
say.
so cool. Yeah,
But
sitting on the
it,
roof.
it was so much fun. And
Mhm.
please give them a hug and a kiss for
I
me because I
will.
think so much of them. Before I kind of jump out of childhood, let's talk a little Joey Daigle while we're there, because you were the consummate big sister, and your
Yes.
little brother Joey, my little brother Louis, such dear friends. It was so fun to watch them come up. We mentioned
Yeah.
his professional success, but he's also just a fun loving guy. What was it like being Joey Daigle's sister?
He is the best. You know what's incredible about Joey? He's twice as smart as I am, and he'll
I
deny
don't
it
believe
because
that. You're both
it's
brilliant, but
true.
don't know. No, I'm gonna
No,
call BS
I,
detectors going off. I believe he's smart. I'm not distinct, but like let's just call it a tie at best.
I don't know. He's very humble, is why you wouldn't know that he's smarter than I am. But he definitely, I think he inherited more of my dad's genes, where he just really can get along with anybody too.
Right.
And just a really fun, salt of the earth, down to earth kind of guy. Just has kept me really grounded too. He reminds me of who I am, where we come from. But no, just really, really incredible guy, and just a wonderful father. I think
Yeah.
that's probably the most not unexpected, but really pleasant thing to see him really grow into that role as a dad. And
Yeah.
just I feel lucky to be his sister.
And what's neat and lucky, blessed, all of the above, is to be able to do this in this small little circle we live in. So
Right?
you live close to your parents, he lives close to your parents. We're all in the same neighborhood here.
Yeah.
Our sons that are such good buddies have kind of famously discussed putting a zip tied in, from one house to the other. These guys have crazy plans with cables and whatnot, but
I love it.
it's got to be cool to have all that and it just be a block or two away for your parents. It must be
Yeah, and that was intentional. I think the further we got away, the more we came together. When we came back together, we're like on top of each other now.
yeah, I
You
love it.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, let's talk that era of life, but outside the house. You and I, we started St. Joseph's School, and those were some magical
Great.
years. Now our kids are there. What do you remember? But long before you became, on the school board at St. Joe, and then,
Uh-huh.
serve at the church, and all the things you've done, awards you've won that we'll get to later. What do you remember about being a kid at St. Joseph's School in Ponchatoula?
Gosh, talking about how lucky we were. What a great place to grow up. I love that everybody had a place. The school was small enough, and our town was small enough that there was room for everybody, and everybody had their talents, and everybody had their strengths. And really just that really kind of laid the foundation of just seeing that potential in everyone, which I think I still do to this day. and really just, and not just in your class, but through, the whole school too. So a lot of support and love from your teachers. We joke all the time that we didn't have one mom. We all had like 20 moms.
Yeah.
So, the teachers loved you like a child. So it wasn't just teaching you about school. It was really teaching you about life. So some really
Yeah.
great lessons. Mm-hmm.
I love that. I saw one of your, extra dads from your class, Kevin Rayford's father, Mr.
Yes.
David, in the carpool yesterday. And he's such, he's aging so gracefully. He and his wife, they're 79. And it's just, you see these folks, and here we are, 40 years later. And it's just so neat because they all left an imprint on you. And it's a fun community to grow up in. So you and I, our paths diverge when we get to high school.
Right.
Your now husband and I, Will, my lifelong best friend, we head to PHS, do the normal thing. You decide, I guess you were recruited, whatever. Tell me the story. But you go off to what at the time to me seemed like what Hogwarts must be.
Yeah.
Witchcraft and wizardry school for smart people. Tell us about the experience of going to the Louisiana school in Natchitoches.
Yeah, that was incredible. Really high level program. Loved all the people that I met there. I mean, it was really extreme though too, because you think about, let's take the best and brightest, but not just in math and science, but in the arts too. And those are not math and science people. And let's throw them all in a school on a college campus.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great idea.
That's wild.
It was a lot of fun. It was, and once again, kind of the theme, I guess, of this whole interview has been, it was hard being away from home. I had a lot of people who wanted to escape a home situation there.
Right.
And I missed my home situation because I had such great family and friends and a community. So it was hard being away, but I thought like a really great first experience too, being on a college campus, working with teachers that worked at NASA. I mean, we're talking really brilliant people. So very challenging, really exciting, always learning something new and challenging the way you look at things. It was a great time. Glad I came back though too.
Yeah, no, so you're glad you went, glad you came back. And I get that, it reminds me of my first big away from home experience, which was going to school in Washington, D.C. and working for the United States Congress. But one of my lifelong heroes to this day, Bob Livingston, who was my dad's college buddy and a phenomenal representative, chairman of appropriation. And before Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, he was elected Speaker of the House of the United States Congress. And so it was weird because I was like you in awe of the people I was working with and for. And, I'm up there in DC and it's just, you get out of your subway station and it's the Smithsonian Institute over there, the White House here, and you're walking to the Capitol.
Right.
You get literal goosebumps. You're so excited. But at the same time, I couldn't wait for that, 3 weeks till Will Richardson and Eric Poche are visiting me. 3 months till I get to go home. And I was so glad to get home, and I stayed home, and I, developed a love for the city. Would get on, say, got on the Mardi Gras crew. Ended up proposing to my wife up there. It's an important part of my history. I wouldn't live there for a month, much less, a year, and be away from Ponchatoula anymore. So it sounds like you were smarter than I. You figured that out early at the high school level. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and because my mom's from Holland, we traveled a lot as kids. I've always had that appreciation of understanding how big and diverse the world was. I think, but it took me a little longer than high school to realize just how blessed we were to have Ponchatoula to call home.
Well, I remember you would come home from these visits to go see your uncles or your grandparents, and it's neat to see that you have the appreciation for both the big wide world that you not only have visited, but now work in. You've got a multi-state business that takes you all over, but an appreciation for this little town we grew up in. Well, let's talk about the next step. Our paths reunite in that we get to go to college in the same place. Tell us about what your Tulane journey was like.
Love the Tulane experience. Everybody who knows me knows I'm incredibly proud of having attended that school. It was a dream all through life. And it was perfect for me because it was, a great university, but close enough to home to where we didn't have to go too far. Met some really incredible people and learned lessons that I've carried with me to this day. I mean, you'll hear me quote professors from the business school at Tulane.
So let's talk about accounting 101 over there. Let's talk about Bo. Can you give him a shout out here all these years? The only business school class I took, but you, Will, and I all took the same.
That's right.
What do you think about that?
Let me tell you, he made accounting like he was one of those unicorns in accounting that had a personality. He was outgoing and he was fun and he was
Right.
engaging. And he smoked on campus. Like he was the guy. No one smokes in public places anymore, but he had somehow negotiated to have a window unit on like the 30th floor of the big school so he could smoke in his office. I mean, it's just unbelievable to think back. Just great. Yeah.
You got to have some juice to pull that off, especially at an
That's right.
like Tulane.
You got to be great.
Well, I was so glad when you got there, and I remember that house that your father purchased on, is it Adams Street? Do I have that
Adams
right?
Street. That's right. Little
So
duplex.
you were kind of in the neighborhood where Will and I lived, certainly walkable from where we were.
That's right.
And it was so cool to kind of reunite the old gang because our families were so tight growing up. I mean, Will was a block or two away from you guys. His brother Ben, friends with Joey, friends with Louie.
My brother, yeah.
Yeah, we all just kind of ran together. I remember when, Will asked you to the high school homecoming dance. I think we were sophomores. You were an 8th grader.
Yeah.
Dad wisely said, "No way, Jose."
No.
And eventually here we are now, 3 kids, the greatest love story ever. If you don't mind, can we bring your husband into the fold and just
absolutely.
The love story with Will Richardson and what you like about my best friend?
I think he's the best human on earth. I don't want to cry. I feel so blessed. My entire professional career, my children, everything, I really owe, a lot to him making that all possible. He's so supportive and my best friend and really just the best person I've ever met. Biggest heart. He's kind of cute.
He's just so much like his mom, right? There's just that supportive scene of whatever you need, I got it. That just go with the flow, calmness, the artistic. There's just so much great going on.
Great. And I'm so glad you brought up Miss Paulette.
Oh, the best. She's a second mom to me. Paulette Poche. Tell us about what you love about her.
I've loved her from the beginning. I mean, even when Will wouldn't be at home, I'd hang out with her. I love her with my whole heart. She is such a great human, loves everyone, has the kindest heart. And she was just one of my moms. Your mom was my mom. So I had Mama Celeste and Paulette, Mama Kathy later in life.
Yeah, Mama Kathy Wells. Boy, what a wonderful woman she is.
Even like younger.
Can I interject real quickly? I just want to let folks know we're talking about Kathy Wells, wife of Sparky Wells, mother of Katie Wells, and mother of Ned Wells. The Ned Wells Memorial Barbecue and Fundraiser is coming up here. It's going to be the Saturday of Memorial Day. It always is every year. Ponchatoula Beach, and all funds raised go to the Ned Wells Memorial Scholarship. I've lost count of how many hundreds of thousands of dollars that scholarship is donated to local kids. They go to Millsaps and Southeastern and other places. But folks, if you have a chance, please check it out. They have a Facebook page. Perhaps our producer can get it in the notes here while we're talking. But if not, just Google it or just come on out there. You're going to have fun. There's a ton of fun, great food, bands, etc. Angie, sorry to hijack your interview. Okay. We don't have commercials, but I wanted to put that in there.
You missed that they have auction. They have phenomenal auction.
Oh, yeah.
That Parker Layrisson is sponsoring Handbid.
That's how absent-minded I am. That's why you're a brilliant business person and I'm not, because you would think. So thank you for that plug. But getting back to you have all these great moms.
Yeah.
Miss Paulette's phenomenal. You mentioned visiting her when Will's not there. In law school, I would go over there and Will would not be home. So Will's not here. I would literally not only stay, I'd spend the night at my best friend's house when it's just his mom in the next room. My parents 4 miles away or whatever. She's just like, just like the best. And Ben and Will, bring so much to the table that she had. And it's just cool when people like your parents or her raise great humans that are now moms and dads of their own. So we're talking, here about the Tulane experience, you and Will falling in love, and I won't make you cry. But let's move forward into your career then.
Okay, great.
You go to Tulane, you study accounting, you become a CPA.
Right.
So tell us about that journey, because as I think you alluded to earlier, it takes out of state. You don't have to cover every job.
No, but
your career, I've seen you go from CPA, where you excelled and won awards, to CFO for maybe the biggest company in Ponchatoula, certainly one of the biggest in our region. A company that goes from Texas to Florida. To now doing your own thing with your Uncle Danny, where you move into the CEO chair, you buy in with ownership. But let's talk about the early days of what you thought about being a CPA and what that journey was like.
So I started out with the #1 public accounting firm in New Orleans, Arthur Anderson. And
Oh,
even though
wow.
it wasn't involved in scandal, we all know the Arthur Anderson in Texas was involved in scandal. So it was a really interesting time to be in that industry and to
Okay.
really learn that you can be part of a really big system and that's not a lot of security, even if you think it is.
Yeah.
But then quickly went over to Ernst& Young. It's another really great Big Four public accounting company. And what public accounting teaches you, one, is work ethic. I pulled a 100-hour week one week. That is not a lie or an exaggeration, even though I
Whoa, that's
am
not
prone to
live. That's
exaggerate.
also not healthy.
Real.
Don't. You have to do it sometimes to get to the top, but
It's
you
okay.
can't sustain it. So I'm glad you're not doing that all the time now.
Not doing it all the time, but then, but it also taught you standardization. So, everything is standardized there, and that was a great lesson that set me up, and also with Gianna King later in my career, that standardization has been really key to growth in any industry I've been in since then. So for public accounting, I go into industry. I work with attorneys like yourself as a controller.
I want to thank you. You and your husband worked for pizza when I first got started. My firm was so poor.
True.
I went through my own phones for 18 months, had no money for employees, and the best, highest price, if she wanted to, CPA around Angie would do my books for free, and I'm eternally grateful. My kids will get to go to college because of you. I want to thank you.
Oh, whatever.
And here is your husband. He's like employee #1. I mean, he
Yeah.
wasn't, employed in a paid capacity up front, but I'm loving working with him now. So thanks to both of you. That's really cool that you took on an itty bitty client like me. But you mentioned Janie
Well,
King. You started in public accounting. You
yeah.
go out west to Texas. You work at Arthur Anderson Big, and then the call comes home. And you were there for a long time and got to see this growth. I mean, now people think of Janie King, of this giant building out there on the interstate. The success that they are. But when you got there, Tom Emman was building an empire, but it's nothing like it was now. You helped him take it to the next level. How did that come about, and what did you learn at the Janie King during that
Well, I don't
experience?
know if I can take credit for that. Tom and Chance and Casey are incredible leaders, and
Absolutely.
The Jana King brand and that standardization and the franchising, they really have perfected that. I mean, it's a great company, and really had a lot of fun in that partnership and helping that vision grow and helping build and
Mhm.
really believed in it too. And being able to work with franchisees and support them and see like the
Yeah.
good that you actually provide and all the support, helping people reach their dreams that they couldn't have reached
I'm
without
glad you
the
mentioned that, because
business.
you make
Yeah,
dreams come true. People
that's
who
right.
don't have much have a path to wealth and success, and it's so exciting. And
Yeah,
I'm so glad you helped them succeed on the level they have, because what better institution does Ponchatoula have than a
right.
business like Janie King that could be anywhere on the Gulf Coast? I mean, let's face it, they could have
Right.
packed up, headed over to the beautiful Gulf Coast, and they could be on the beach in Perdido or Pensacola or wherever they want. And but instead they stay here in their hometown. They provide great jobs and opportunities, and you're such a big part of that. I want to share with you, if you don't mind, we've got a few comments here. The
Okay.
first to come in is Jody Hutchinson LaFranca, and she says, "Hey Angie, big Envoy fan." So
Yeah.
Jody, thank you for sharing that. Angie, how's it make you feel to hear people are such big fans of your company?
So wonderful. Really just taking all those years of experience and all of my accounting and business experience, but combining it with something like Envoy, which is hospice
Yeah.
care, just is really fulfilling for me. And so, yeah, it makes me feel great. Thanks, Jody.
Well, so let's dive into that. So
Yeah.
Envoy, I'm going to try to. I'm terrible with tech, so forgive me if this doesn't work. But I'm going to try to bring up Envoy on our screen with us. There we go. It
There
worked for
it
a
is.
change.
That's
But
us.
as you can see from the top here, guys, these guys are in not just Louisiana, but Mississippi and all the way in New Mexico. What's it like running this growing empire of a company that's so well loved, where folks like Jody, talk about what big fans they are, but it's also so big. I mean, what's it like? You took that giant leap of doing your own thing. You get to
Yeah.
work with your uncle, who's just a brilliant guy, former lawyer, big time businessman like you.
Uh-huh.
What's the journey been like? And then tell us about the company.
Oh, it's been great. Really fulfilling, like I said, to really do something you believe in and know that you're really impacting lives, especially at the end when I mean, really, really impacts them. And But you know what I've always found fulfilling throughout my career is
Hmm.
I really, really love people. And I see their strengths and I see them for who they are, and I'm able to like really build a system around them and support them. So
Hmm.
pulling those teams together, building teams with different people with different strengths, and then for them to go out and serve those patients. So what I'm always saying is like I fiercely protect my employees. That's my
Yeah.
job, and their job is to care for patients. And so the better job I do at building those teams, the better care they provide to those patients. So that feels great to see it expand and grow,
Yeah.
and for it to be such a positive brand that has really impacted so many lives, means a lot to
So
me. Mhm.
speaking of growth, is it okay for me to announce that you have expanded and grown right here into Tangipahoa Parish? Would you mind
Absolutely.
talking about that, because it's a really exciting development?
It's funny. So I've been working in New Mexico and now in Mississippi and all throughout Louisiana and all this healthcare. And I kind of stepped back from the Tangipahoa area when I was on the board for North Oaks. They said there was no conflict of interest, but I really just didn't even want there to be a perceived one. So we kind of pull our hospice care out of the Tangipahoa market. And then I was kind of a little bit nervous to come back. I wanted to make sure that, the care that we brought back to Ponchatoula Hammond was the absolute best and highest, because you hold yourself to the highest
Of course.
standard when you go back home. And I thought about, what would it, if I have to take care of my mom or your mom or our loved ones, what kind of care do I want that to look like? And so I really feel
Right.
proud to be ready to bring it back and come back into Tangipahoa Parish. So we have an office right across from North Oaks in the Duramed building.
Mhm.
So that's been
And as
great.
I understand it, signage will be coming up soon, so folks
Like,
will be able to see where you are,
yeah,
but you're there already.
I'm there already and serving the community. So really
That's
excited to
great.
bring that back. Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, Angie, as you know, both of my parents are cancer survivors, thank God.
Mhm.
But I've been volunteering for a few years with this cancer care ministry through the First Baptist Church in Ponchatoula. And I can tell you, it has been a gift to help people, whether I'm driving them to radiation or chemo or whatever. And I had just had no idea how prevalent cancer was in our area
Yeah.
and how important, hospice care is. I mean, you have some grass. I remember when Brandy's grandmother died and the hospice came in, and we were blessed there to have somebody we knew, a Ponchatoula-based nurse who had known my whole life, Miss Gloria Willie. Shout out to her.
Yeah. Oh, Miss Glow.
Mr.
I've
Meyer,
talked to her. She's
she the best
phenomenal.
or what? I mean, she's a fabulous woman.
She runs the
But
palliative care program at North Oaks now and is
yeah,
doing incredible work for the
right.
patients that go through there. Yep.
Yeah. So she and her amazing daughters and husband, they all have servants' hearts. And whether, you're at Ponchatoula High School or the fire department or North Oaks Hospital, they're helping people wherever they go. Um, but my point here is, that's just kind of luck of the draw. Oh, this is somebody you grew up with no love. But I know that you want everybody to bring that level of care.
That's
So
right.
because everybody's whoever is that important to them, right? So
Right.
it's so neat because when I think about it, it's such a trust thing. And
Yeah.
I don't know who's out there doing hospice, but I would
Oh,
imagine there are a bunch of shysters, some just looking to make a buck. But I know for you, it's personal and you care. And the systems you've been mentioning throughout, you're going to have those, and they're going to guarantee a level of quality with your company
that's right.
that competitors may not have. I want to share this one. Well, first, we got a hello from your team. They're
Oh,
saying that you
hello.
wanted to start Ponchatoula and Tangipahoa. Thank you, Envoy. It's good to know y'all are watching the boss in action. We also have Susan Anderson here. Susan, thank you for watching the show. And she says Envoy provides such great care to each patient. It's a great hospice team when you need the most. And so well said, Susan. I can't thank you enough. She also says, great job, Angelique.
Aw.
Susan, thank you for watching and chiming in. We're here with Angelique Richardson, the CEO of Envoy Healthcare and Hospice. And it's been so fun here. I know we only have a few more minutes till you've got to get to Fisher's baseball game.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you a few questions if you don't mind. Oh, but before I do, what else would you like to say about Envoy? What have I missed? Because it's a great company. I want to make sure we describe it fully.
I want to say it's really about the employees. My team is the best team. I love everybody that I work with. I feel really honored to have them on the team. I always say you hire great people and everything else works out. So you have to have great systems and a great program, but if you hire great people who are passionate about what they're doing too, then you're all heading in the same direction. There's nothing that can stop us. But
That's
what?
so true. I've learned the same in my law firm. And it's like, if I can just get the right people in the building,
Mhm.
you're going to a
I'll put them in the
baseball.
right place.
You
Yeah.
get the not right 9 kids on the field, you can figure out positions later.
Everything
But
else.
it's
Yep.
about getting the right character and talent and work ethic and tenacity.
Agreed.
That's also important. Janice Casey's chimed in and says, "Congrats, job well done."
Thanks.
Janice,
And
thank you for that. So, Angie, as we look back at such a successful career, public accounting, as a CFO at a major company, and now as the CEO of your own company, doing such important personal work with such a fantastic team. I've noticed over the years you've really been, what should I say, respected, among your peers, and that's reflected in the form of some awards you've won. So, for example, as I recall, the city business, it gave you the Moneymaker Award. Would you mind sharing with us what that was and what that was about? Because that's not just some little small. Hey, I'm proud that I was Ponchatoula Chamber of Commerce Citizen of the Year in 2019.
That's a big deal.
Well,
That's bigger.
somebody wins that every year. It's small town, small award. I'm grateful for it. But yours is a really big award. I mean, it's a big, giant regional thing that's a much bigger deal than people may know. Would you mind kind of explaining what that is so our viewers can kind of understand who we're talking to here?
No, I think, that's city business is great that they put on that program and recognize people. But you know what I think about when I think about that award? I think about my Jana King team and the time I spent at Jana King, because there was such that same team and family mentality. I remember, I think JJ O'Neill and Casey and Chance really nominating me for that award. So when I think about that award, I really don't think about the award. I think about the people who nominated me and how great that was.
Well, what a
And what a great
fantastic
team we had there.
leaders y'all had. The folks you
Yeah.
just mentioned, yourself, and the folks.
All superstars. Yeah.
It's great to see. Well, I'm not going to let you off the hook that easy with your humility. Okay, I'm not surprised that you give the credit to everybody else, but I'm also not buying it. None of those guys had anything with you to do with you getting the prestigious Mother Seton Award through the Catholic Church. Would you mind?
Very proud of that one.
Because I know, as I recall, as your close personal friend, that award meant even more to you than the Big Time City Business Award.
That's true. I was nominated for that award. At that time, I was on a lot of boards. I've had to say no more than yes to board memberships, but I was really involved with the St. Joseph School, the core committee, where we help Father make some big decisions about the direction of our parish. At the same time, I was doing children's liturgy on Sundays, which I've done for, 18 years. Yeah, it really brings me a lot of joy to do that. And then I was also on the advisory council for the school, and I was the room mom, and I was just so involved in the school and our community and the church.
Don't forget Rotary president. That was
all that on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so involved in that St. Joseph community, and they nominated me there, and I went over to Baton Rouge to receive that award. And I was so proud of that one because, our, father was there, our principal was there. I invited my parents to come because that one really touched me. I felt like I was really making a difference in our community. So.
Well, they could not have chosen a better person. I'm so proud to see you do that. And you deserved it big time. Speaking of deserving, more good comments are coming in here, and you deserve this too.
Aww.
So Emma Schultz, is it Piglia? I'm sorry, I'm butchering that at least 2 out of 3 ways, and maybe all 3. But Emma says that Angelique has a brilliant mind and a beautiful soul. Emma, I couldn't have said that any better. She says that the team at Envoy is so lucky to be led by you, Angelique. How does it make you feel to have someone like Emma say that about you?
Wonderful. That's why I do what I do. I love our whole team. And the thing that brings me joy, that fills me at the end of the day, is supporting the people in my organization, seeing them achieve more than they thought they could ever achieve, whether it's with me or someone else. I always say that too. I just want to support people to be the best person they can be wherever that is. And hopefully it's with me. And Emma's a phenomenal. That means a lot to hear her say that. Thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I promise we're about to land the plane and get you to the Pard baseball fields. But before we go, I owe it to our younger viewers, especially people like Emma, people on your team, people on other teams, aspiring career women and men, to ask about kind of the keys to success. Because you've been so successful on so many fronts. And while it's been difficult to do that and be the world's greatest mom, which you are, and a fantastic wife, et cetera, I guess what I'm asking here is kind of, if you could go back in time to your younger self, if you want to view it that way, or if somebody, that reminds you of yourself, some 22-year-old person straight out of Southeastern or Tulane or whatever accounting program you can think of, comes to you and says, kind of, wow, look at this career, look at this life. How do I do it? What advice do you have for that person?
Yeah. I'll start by quoting Parker Layrisson, who
Uh-oh. This
quoted
could be dangerous.
Shakespeare, who says that I know shall be true.
I do like that one. I can't claim to have
20
originated
years
it,
ago.
but I keep it.
Yeah, so it really is that simple. I feel like believe in yourself, have confidence in yourself, and know that your unique experience and your unique background and the things that are important to you are going to create just the perfect individual that this world needs. And so really embrace that part of yourself. Don't try to be anybody else or pretend to have anything important to you because it's important to someone else. And I think if you really do that, then the things that you do, you believe in, you're passionate about, and I think you're just naturally going to be successful because you're driven to do the best at those things. So
Very well
also
said.
support and love those unique individuals around you, because
Yeah.
if you can do that, then you've got the whole world on your team, and that's how I feel too. I feel like I've got a lot of supporters all around me that I also support, and you can't go wrong with that advice. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Work hard.
Well, you have such an uplifting energy about you, Angie, and I'm grateful. It's like I don't want to let you go because I just feel like I'm being infused with wonderfulness here, but I know I have to. So before you go,
Yeah.
is there anything else on your mind, on your heart, just anything else at all that you'd like to share with our viewers and listeners?
I have a couple of big thank yous. I have a big thank you to anyone in hospice, not just at Envoy, who cares for patients in their final days. These people are angels on earth, and there are so many incredible people in our communities. You think about all healthcare workers and firefighters and policemen, and they all do these incredible jobs, and I'm grateful to all of them. But if I have this platform right now, I'm especially thinking hospice workers who are coming into homes, like you said,
Amen.
really delicate and personal moments, and really helping ease that transition. I also have to say a big thank you to all of my teams everywhere. I love all of them and working with all of them. I have to thank all of my moms.
So that would be like Team Envoy, but Team Richardson too. I'm taking it, right?
Oh, definitely my husband and my family make it all possible. For sure. That's without saying. That's number one. And my mom and my dad and Paulette and Celeste and Kathy and my mom and Terry Ann and Charlene and all the really independent, strong women that I grew up with that set this really great example for me to know that I could do anything that I wanted to do. The whole city of Ponchatoula for just being a great place to live, and especially to you, Parker. Big thank you. I love what you do for our community. I love Ponchatoula Live. You're always doing these great things. You're one of the most generous people I know. You're also very humble, so you don't like people to know about it. But you're a great friend, and I know not just to me, but to so many people. You lift people up. You lift up our whole community with you. And so just a huge thank you to you and all you do for our community. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Now you're trying to make me cry. You almost got me. Thank you. I'm very grateful. Coming from you, those are kind words, but coming from you, the impact's 10x. We have a few. It's a great interview when 38 minutes in, we're still getting comments. So I'm going to close it down as I promised, but
Okay.
I want to share every comment that everybody said here.
Okay.
Dear friend Marshall Graves says this interview makes me smile. Great people.
Oh, Marshall's great.
My brother, you make me smile every time I hear from you. Marshall says this is also a great example of healthy family relationships, and amen to that. I know that Marshall, through his ministry, is doing their very best to try to help with these generational curses that bad parents and bad people sometimes put on, kids that deserve much better. And you are describing, how life should be, in families. Angie said, thanks for that. Miss Faye Ivaniski, one of my favorite ladies. Talk about a classy lady. She's in the Angelique Richardson Club. She said, I don't know if she's correct here, but she says that you describe me perfectly.
Thank you.
I'll end with Miss Faye's other comment. She says, Angelique, you were such a community-minded person, and that's so true. So you are a fine example of what makes Ponchatoula such a special community. I'm so glad you decided to return to our little hometown,
Thank
live
you.
here, stay here, and do business here. So thank you for your time. Get to the
Sure,
ballpark.
thanks.
We love you. And to our viewers, we love you too. Y'all have a great week. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Bye.